So there was a lot of things I wanted to talk about today, but I've kind of been noticing that there's something else I want to discuss with you, share with you. So I'm going to go for it. You can ask me questions later if you want about how I went from person thrown out of 9 schools to a decent yoga and Dharma teacher. But for now, what I want to address is, for us, in the lineage that I'm a lineage holder in, that's the lineage of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. For us, the practice of yoga was created to create a circumstance within yourself that allows you to reach a state of enlightenment. When we think of an enlightened being, what are some of the qualities that we think of? What do you think of? Kind, yeah. Patient, peaceful, tolerant, alert, wise, like him, Neem Karoli Baba. You know, all these people up on the screen are people who have reached the goal of the practice. They've been to the mountaintop, and they've come back down to teach us how to do it. It's not logical to think that if we started out as, someone corrected me, I said we started out as newts, and she said, oh, it was an amoeba. If we started out as an amoeba, and then we went to whatever we went to, and I'm just going to jump to ape, and then we went to human being, what in the world makes you think that human being is your final evolutionary stage? Like, that the buck stops here at human being, as if being a human being is so great. It's said that you're always afflicted in samsara, which is the suffering realm that we live in. You're always experiencing 5 to 7 problems, whether they're as prosaic as a hangnail or as profound as a spouse leaving you, whether by betraying you or by dying. You always have 5 to 7 things wrong. That is the hallmark of samsara. It is characteristic of the suffering world that you suffer here. Now, if I go over to India or if I take yoga to Africa, I don't need to teach them that they're suffering. But here in the States, in the West, we have so many ways to distract ourselves from what's actually taking place. We have movies, restaurants, books, friends, jobs, the internet, Facebook. That's like your new best friend, isn't it? Facebook. She's like, no, not me. The loan, not me. I don't own a TV. We have so many ways to avoid our own suffering. And so getting people in the States to meditate is like getting blood from a stone. Getting you to understand that your window of opportunity to get from here, human being in your evolutionary stage, to enlightened being, your window is so small. If you wait until you're too old, when your eyes are failing, when your brain is leaving you, when you can no longer see well or hear well, it's too late. You won't be able to meditate. You won't be able to be like these people. These are many of my teachers who went into a 3-year retreat. 3-year silent, solitary retreat. No talking, no music, no reading, no nothing. Just meditating all day long for 3 years. In order to reach the goal of yoga. That's what they did. Why? Why would you ever bother to reach the goal of yoga? Why would you ever bother to become a Buddha or Muhammad or Jesus or Saint Teresa of Avila? Why? What would possibly compel you? It's said that compassion is why. Because your heart begins to open with your practice and you see everyone in the world suffering all the time without cessation. And you, as an individual, are fed up. You reach a point where you say, you know what? I don't care if I die trying, but I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore to you. Why? Because I love you. Because I love you. So the whole entire yoga practice that we talk about, oh, all is one, be love itself, just love, right? And you're like, yeah, put it on another t-shirt, why don't you? You're supposed to actually do it. You're supposed to actually do it, right? You're not supposed to just read about it in Yoga Journal. You're supposed to actually do it. Go out and love people. The thing that pulls you into your next becoming, into your next incarnation, into the next, what's after human being? Bodhisattva? Angel, do you think angels are metaphors? You're a fool. People saw those beings. Those beings exist. How do you know they're not in the room right now? Just like a dog, you can't hear a high-pitched whistle. Does that mean there's no sound? For you, there's no sound. For the dog, there's sound. There's millions of universes in here happening at the same time. You can't tell me that that person next to you isn't a realized being. How could you know? Love is the evolutionary drive. Love is what will pull you forward to the next, more expanded, new and improved version of yourself. Out of a limited self-concern that we talked about in this morning's class, if anyone was there, right? The heavy use of the first personal pronoun, which is what? What's the first one? I, me, right? What's the next one? Mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. Which 3 words associated with a high risk of heart disease, by the way. So you want to just stop saying them. And what do you want to say instead? You. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I make your life better? If it's true that the entire world is coming from us, if it's true, and we say that it is, that your thoughts are creating your world. How many times have you heard that? Raise your hand. Like, shoot me if I hear it one more time, right? I am my thoughts. My thoughts are creating my world. What does that really mean? That means that if we don't have jurisdiction over the content of our own mind, if you're not meditating, I hate to break it to you, you are not practicing yoga. You are not a yogi or a yogini. You're practicing what one of my lamas calls Indian calisthenics. That's all. You might as well be joining Cirque du Soleil or be hanging out at the Crunch Gym doing like acrobatic stuff. It has nothing to do with yoga. It has nothing to do with yoking yourself to the highest, not something exterior to you. The highest is within you. God is here and he is you. You're it. You're creating your world. No one else. The yogi never points fingers. Here, oh, it's my parents' fault. It's my college's fault. It's my town's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my partner's fault. That's a popular one. I'm unhappy because of you. That's not the yoga practice. The yoga practice is all things are arising from me. I'm responsible for everything in my world, from the highest to the lowest, from the most beautiful to the ugliest, from the most prosaic to the most profound. It's all coming from you. If there's anger in your world, why? Who's angry? Raise your hand. Oh, really? New Age fundamentalists. Is that right? With anger phobias. Oh, anger's bad, right? Is that what you've been taught? So what does that mean that you do with your anger? Stuff it. You repress it. You relabel it. Then what happens? Then you turn into someone like Wiener from New York. You find yourself in a back alley getting a blowjob from a transvestite while you're in a monogamous heterosexual marriage and you don't know how you got there. You don't know how you got there. They don't know. I mean, they don't know, right? Oh my God. No one willingly destroys their career. No one does that, okay? If you put this imperative on yourself to be kind and holy and perfect at the expense of doing the deep psychological work that you need to do, then it will emerge one day. It will emerge as an eruption. So for the yogi, yes, you're trying to be kind and compassionate and loving. You are not, however, lying to yourself. You are not pretending to be something that you're not. You are not leaping ahead on the evolutionary trajectory, pretending to be something that you're not. You have to start where you are. It's said that anger is the #1 affliction of besieging the Western world, anger. And I asked you, are you angry? And how many people raise their hand? Like 2 courageous souls. Really? You don't get angry? Come on. You all look so serious. You look angry right now. You're calling me on my anger. Don't call me on my anger. I'm spiritual. I got a bindi and a sari to prove it. Oh, please. All font, no substance. Yoga is not about what you look like in a pose. It's not about wearing Sanskrit written clothing and stuff like that, okay? It's about what's happening in your heart and in your mind. They weren't kidding when they said that the spiritual path was dangerous and hard. It is. Why? Because you come face to face with the biggest demon you'll ever meet, which is who? You, right? Or for me, me. What did Rumi say? You know, if you haven't met the devil, well, hey, just take a look in the mirror. Because that's where he is. El Diablo is well and good and alive inside of us. That's where it's coming from. So the yogi tries to do two things. They're taking their quote-unquote negative qualities. They're understanding how they arise, where they come from. If karma is true, every bad thing you ever experience comes from one thing. What? You made somebody feel like that in the past. That's it. Every good feeling that you have, by the inviolate laws of karma, means what? You made someone feel good in the past. You want to feel good tomorrow? Make someone feel good today. You want to feel crappy tomorrow? Keep looking after number one. Keep jockeying for position. Keep pushing people down at work. Keep elbowing at the bar. I saw him first. I saw him first. He's mine. I saw him first. If you want the things that you want in your world, there's only one way to get it. What is that? To give it to someone else first. That's karma. What you give comes back to you. If you want something and you don't ever give it to anyone else, there is no way it can show up in your world. If you want love, you have to give it. If you want respect, you have to give it. You want fame? It's really easy. I can teach you the karma. What do you think it might be? You want to see yourself elevated and paid attention to. What do you got to do? Hello, we all speak English. Yeah, raise someone else up above yourself. Oh, but tell a person who wants fame to do that, and they can't. No, 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 what? If you want money, what should you do? Work harder? Steal from a bank? Go into your mother's pocketbook? Give it away. Does working create money? No, working does not create money. What's the proof? Plenty of people work and don't make money. Plenty of people work and make a lot of money. Plenty of people don't work and make money. Plenty of people don't work and have a lot of money. We call them trustafarians. And you resent the shit out of them because you're ignorant and you don't realize that the reason they have money in this lifetime is because they were extraordinarily generous in a previous one. And that's the only way they would ever have a trust fund. Oh, it's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? Oh, you mean I'm broke because I'm cheap? Uh-huh. Yep, that's what the teachings say. That's what they say. The main thing I want you to move forward with this weekend is that all these beautiful teachers are here from all of these beautiful lineages. But if you're not practicing with correct intention, if you're practicing using the I, me, mine, if it's all about you on your mat, I came here, I paid money, it's raining, damn it. This better be good. Where's the wine-driven event? You know, like if it's all about you, like, oh, this isn't hard enough, and bikini season is coming, or oh, I really should be back at work, I wonder if my boss is gonna be mad. Like whatever you're thinking about in your practice, if it's about yourself, you're just putting the causes into play to continue to see your own happiness arise in the future. Your practice when you practice should be for others. Get on your mat, think of someone you know who's in pain. In Buddhism, we start with someone we love, because it's easier to give to someone we care about already. Once you get good at that, you go to the neutral people, people that you don't really care, you're indifferent. But I don't know, oh, you have no indifferent, oh, yeah. Right. We'll limp that with the anger phobia. And then you have, you go to people you actively don't like, people you hate, and you give your practice to them. Why? Because you understand that all of the hateful people in your world are coming from one place and one place only, and that's your precious heart. So you want to start to love everyone. How are you going to do that? You just start. The yogi never has to think about what to do next. Should I go to this class or should I go to that class? Should I talk to that person or should I sit over there at lunch? Should I eat Italian or should I have Chinese? Should I go to the front of the room or to the back of the room? Should I wear makeup or not wear makeup? Should I be fat or should I be skinny? Should I be voluptuous or should I be like thin and anorexic? What should I be? What's the answer? Forget all that. The only thing you ever have to do in any given moment is help somebody. Look around and help somebody. That's it. Every second of the day. Just looking around for people to help, picking up things off the floor, helping people get a spot, clearing someone's dishes for them, holding their door open for them. My Lama says you're not going to have the opportunity, most of us, to run into a burning building and save a baby and accrue this wonderful karma that can kind of push you forward into your own Buddhahood. That's not going to happen for most of us. The karmas are going to be small and tiny. You have to find ways to help people all the time. And I know that you're all already doing it, right? But do it with wisdom. Don't be nice just because you're being a good Catholic or because your mother told you to or because you want people to like you. You are kind and good because you're trying to create that kind of world, because you understand that it's all beginning and ending with you. Your world begins and ends with you. My world begins and ends with me. Nobody can save you from your world except you. Nobody. Not Obama, not your parents, not your boss. No one can do it. Only you can do it. You have to become the change you wish to see in the world, right? That famous Gandhi quote. You have to become the change you wish to see. Not like tomorrow, not when you have your vacation set and your apartment's just right or your house and you're in the right relationship and you're at the right weight and you're making the right amount of money. You're waiting for this imaginary configuration of events that is never going to happen. Why? Because you're in samsara. It doesn't get better here. Everything fails here. It is built to fall apart. Every building will fall down. Why? Because it was put up. Every relationship will end. Why? Because it began. Everything will be taken away from you. You have to get out of here. You have to, because you love people. If you don't love people, then that's why you're in class and you're always hearing the teacher go, open your heart, and you're in your mind going, oh God, open my heart. Do I have to hear that again? Open my heart. Talk about a hallmark sentiment, right? Yeah, it's more than a bumper sticker, people. You have to actually do it. You have to actually do it. It's scary, I know. But you think of yourself as the earthworm that goes inside the, what's it called? The cocoon, and then emerges as a different being. That's you. You've done this countless times before. You've been here, we've all been here together many times before this one. There are saints and sages in the room right now waiting for you to reach out your hand and say, help me. Show me how to become like you. Because so far, on my own dime, I've been fucking up the whole thing. I'm a human wrecking ball. I've been hurting people since the day I was born. Even when I'm trying not to hurt people, I'm hurting people. When you get clear on that, when you understand that that's actually what's happening in your world, you will seek out a teacher. You will find someone who you consider to be a realized being, like this gentleman here, Saraswati, Brahmananda Saraswati, and you will put your head on their feet, and you will sob to them, and you will say, please, please, please help me. Please save me. I'm making a colossal mess of it all. Please show me how to do it. And then they do. And they're happy to help you. They're waiting for you to ask. They've been waiting for aeons, for you to have the wits, the brain, the wherewithal to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? And when you can do that, you'll feel many worlds will open to you that you didn't even know existed. But it takes courage. You have to be willing to discard what isn't working, to lay down what isn't working, and to pick up what does work. And I will tell you that what got you here today will not get you where you want to go. There's a different set of skills that you need. You got here, good for you. Your parents taught you how to be in this world. These beings teach you how to get out of this world. It won't be by looking out after number one. You pay a heavy, heavy price when you look out for number one. The price is your own happiness. Master Shantideva said, my favorite quote, this is like you could just teach this and then never say anything else ever again. Just keep your yap shut after this, Kelly, right? He said, the total amount of happiness in your world, okay? The total amount of happiness in your world has come from you trying, wanting, wishing, praying that others could be happy. The total amount of unhappiness in your world has come from you trying, wishing, praying, working so hard to make yourself happy. Looking out for number one is the number one reason why we all are here. in this realm, where everything falls apart, where people leave you, where your best friend sleeps with your husband, where your children get cancer and die, where you're broke or homeless. That's the nature of this world. If you're unclear on that, pick up the New York Times and just read the headlines, because yogis don't read the paper or watch TV, generally. We don't. It's free ignorance. It's free ignorance. The New York Times is teaching you false dharma. That isn't how things work. Whatever you do to others comes back to you, whether it's good or bad. And the whole world is a macrocosm of a microcosm called your little precious heart. Everything, you are only a compendium of anything you have ever thought, said, or done in this lifetime or in the billions of previous ones. That's all you are at any given moment. What is arising in the present moment, what you think and feel in the present moment. Is there some other you here? No. So when you practice in your ongoing classes here, just make sure that you're giving your practice for someone else. That's all you have to do, okay? Think of someone that you care about who's in pain, and when you're on your mat, you practice for them. Get yourself out of the way. Your concern for them should completely eclipse your self-concern. Why do we want to get rid of self-concern? Because it's the #1 cause of suffering, okay? And it's antithetical to everything you've ever been taught, I know. But here we are. And this is yoga. This is why we're here at Wanderlust, this beautiful event, to learn. You have to be ready to change. If you're not ready to change, what are you doing here? And I'm talking about like, I want longer hamstrings. It's not that, okay? That's easy. That's easy. Asana is like for kindergartners, okay? The big work is when you have to address the contents of your own mind and heart and go, wow, like I like to think I'm a pretty good person. But when you get down to it, to the brass tacks, and you take a good look inside your mind, you see yourself thinking unkind thoughts, ungenerous thoughts, unwise thoughts all day, every day, constantly, about everyone around you, including yourself. And the only person who pays the price is you or me. Right? So is everyone in agreement that they're going to try to offer their practices to other people this weekend? Okay, great. So can we open it up for questions? Yeah.
I mean, you brought up the Buddhism loving kindness meditation, but I've always been told that the first step is loving yourself.
Yeah.
And so just sort of sounds like you're saying something a little different.
You would maybe divide that in between the psychological components and the spiritual ones. So you could say, yes, loving yourself is important in a psychological sense. It would be very hard to become a Buddha if you suffered from chronic low self-esteem, right? I mean, if we have a hard time envisioning ourselves in a normal, conventional sense of happiness, of having gotten everything we want and the relationships that we want and the money that we want, if we have a hard time even imagining that, then how in the world would you be able to imagine yourself as a realized being? So until what we call your psychological ducks are in a row, you've done the therapy, you've done the hard work of, figuring out in a conventional sense why you're so screwed up, then you're ready for a spiritual practice, But it's very hard to make progress on the spiritual path if you're still mad at your mother, right? Really hard. But on the other side of it is that to experience the love that we all so desperately yearn for, you have to give it first. Otherwise, it can never come to you. So you have to do that hard work of like, I don't feel loved or loving, but I'm going to try because I understand where everything's coming from. And that's all you can ever do is try. That's why it's called a practice. If it was easy, we'd all be there already, right? Does that help?
Yeah, so you're sort of saying you do it the opposite way, I guess. Love someone else and then that'll
address the psychological material and then also do it with wisdom. Understanding that, yes, I have to go through the psychological process in therapy or whatever, but I also understand that what I'm experiencing is coming from me. And those two are not incompatible. And if they are in your mind, meditate on it and think about it, because they're not. Hi.
How do you constantly help other people without becoming a doormat?
Yeah, you don't want to be Debbie doormat. That's not what we're talking about here. Like, how about this? Someone steps on your foot and they go, you hear yourself going, oh, it's okay, dude, it's my karma. It's my karma. Yeah, it isn't about becoming a doormat. It's only a doormat if you don't have the wisdom behind it. If you have the wisdom, then you're serving because you understand that taking care of others is the only way to save your world or to see yourself taken care of in the future. If you're doing it because you're afraid, or because you have low self-esteem, or because your mother did it, or because your mother didn't do it, and so you're trying to become someone other than her, you know, if it's driven by anything except wisdom, meaning everything I'm doing, all of my projections will eventually do one day too. So you're holding the door and people are passing by you, not saying thank you. You're wise, you go, I never said thank you in the past. Okay, so this bad karma is burning off. Like I'm seeing this arise now. People aren't saying thank you. They're not being gracious. They're not appreciating this amazing thing I'm doing for them, holding open the door. God damn it. And so you have wisdom in the moment and you say, oh, I obviously haven't been having gratitude myself. But you also recognize that by holding the door open, you're creating the causes to see people in your world in the future hold the door open for each other. That's different than Debbie Doormat. Can you see the difference? Totally different, right? And only you know where you are with it. You can't like make yourself, you know? Like only you know why you're doing things. That's why we can't judge anyone else. You can never know what anyone's doing or why they're doing it, right? So yeah.
Would you recommend beginning a meditation practice for those of us that have a hard time sitting still? Not that I'm one of those people.
Okay. No one likes to hear this, but the cause of being able to meditate is ethics. Oh. So if your ethics aren't totally great and perfect, you're going to have a hard time sitting quietly. Why? Because the mind is preoccupied. It's like when something's weighing on your conscience, you said something unkind or you did something unkind or something like that, you can't concentrate. You told a lie, you can't even remember what you told. I mean, you're creating chaos in your mind when you're not behaving with perfect ethics all the time. And it's said that those are the causes. So if you wanted to meditate, you would practice being kind and compassionate, not lying, not stealing, not cheating, not any of the deadly sins or the 10 Commandments or anything like that. You would work really hard to become a kind, ethical person. And I know that already, I know her, so I know that she is, and she's just pretending right now to give us all a teaching, because this is traditional in our lineage. The Buddha didn't talk that much. His students would do dialogues, and they would be written down, right? And he would sit in the audience and go, yeah, that's right. So that would be the cause, right? And then, of course, normal things like, yogis don't drink coffee. Oh, get mad at me. Go ahead. At the risk of alienating all of you, right? You can't meditate if you're drinking caffeine. You just can't, right? So at least you save the caffeine for after your meditation practice if you insist on having it. But those are the main causes, right? And of course, you have to find a teacher, and you have to find a lineage that has functioned to bring thousands of people to enlightenment. And if you're in a lineage, a meditation lineage, that has not brought thousands of people to enlightenment, then you need to ask yourself what the fuck you're doing in that lineage. Are you a guinea pig? Are you going to be their guinea pig? Are you going to waste your life being someone's guinea pig? No. You need to meet someone who's reached the goal. Put your head on their feet. Beg them to take you on as a student. They do it out of the graciousness and love in their heart. They don't need you. Teachers don't need you, okay? Don't think you're doing them a favor by showing up at their class. They're helping you. You're not helping them, okay? So you find someone and you say, teach me how to meditate. You know, and there's plenty of resources. If people need resources, just email me and I'll tell you. So, what?
You can't really help how people receive how you are to them, as long as you know pretty much in your heart what you're doing. It's just kind of piggybacking on what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't, as long as you know you're doing it for the right reasons, it doesn't really matter how it's received.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's hard, though, because we're trained to look for a reward when we're good. You know, they didn't even say thank you. You know, like you're giving a gift to someone, and then if they're not filled with the right amount of gratitude, you're all like, I should have spent left on that gift. You know, or why did I spend so much time? They're not even, you got to remember, oh, I haven't expressed gratitude properly in the past. And that's why this person could give two shits about my gift. Because I don't. And it takes If you're not meditating every day between 30 to 40 minutes in a serious way, I'm not talking about sitting down and daydreaming or thinking about what you're going to have for breakfast or napping, sitting up, or something like that. If you're not meditating every day, there is no way you're going to have the wherewithal in the present moment when someone starts screaming at you to not scream back. You're not going to have the wherewithal to go, wait a minute, what did Kelly say? What did the Buddha say? Oh yeah, people are yelling at me because I've yelled in the past. What would be the dumbest ass thing I could do right now? Yell back. And you know you want to. You go home and think about even better insults to slay them with. Oh, I should have said that. That would have crushed them. Don't even look at me with these pious expressions. You all know what I'm talking about, okay? You all go into a deep state of meditation when you're obsessing about an argument you had that morning. Man, you have single-pointed concentration then, don't you? Oh, you don't even hear things. I'll call your name. Like, huh? Like you're just thinking about that argument. You're just single-pointed on it, right? You know, you already have shamatha. You already have single-pointed concentration. You just don't have the right object. You're not thinking about the right thing, right? But you all know how to do it, okay? You all know how to do it. You just have to find the right object. The argument you had this morning with your spouse is not a virtuous object, okay? Yeah.
So I've heard different things that, when you meditate, you have to have a clear mind, clear head. But then also I've heard of, saying a mantra. So what do you think is the best way or the best thing to do?
Yeah, good question. I can only speak from my own experience. I've only been part of one meditation lineage, and that's the Gelugpa lineage out of Tibet from His Holiness. These two people taught it to me, Geshe Michael Roach and Lama Christine McNally. She's in 3-year retreat right now again for the second time, and he's teaching. But anyway, they taught me how to meditate, and their teachers taught me how to meditate. So I can only speak of the efficacy of that lineage, which is profound. Just simply watching your breath year after year, without using it as a platform to see emptiness directly or to reach you could say, piercing the nature of reality for the first time in a deep state of meditation. Simply watching your breath is not going to do anything for you except make you maybe a more relaxed, less stressed out person for a couple hours, and then you need to sit again. Okay? These teachings weren't created to help you navigate the shit you call your life. They are meant to eliminate the shit altogether. It is meant to erase pain altogether of any kind. We talked about this in class, like why are realized beings smiling all the time? Like His Holiness, like yeah. And then you're like, well, what about China? And he's like, oh yeah, China, love China. He understands where China came from. He understands Tibet was a warring nation for many centuries, violent, killing each other all the time, crazy. He understands where that's coming from. The last thing he's going to do is fight the Chinese. That's the height of idiocy from a karma and emptiness point of view. Makes no sense, you see? And he's happy because I can't get into this, but because all of his prana is in his central channel, in his uma, his sushumna. Why? How did it get there? He acted for the benefit of others. He went against the cultural imperative, which is look out for number one at all times. And then once you get that squared away, you can include some friends and family, in your good time. They don't do that. They love everyone. When you become a realized being, you're not going to be like, everybody, I love all of you. Oh, except you. You go away. It's everybody. You love everybody, And you have to start today, here. You find someone, love them, take care of them, a stranger. That's what this whole Wanderlust thing is about, connecting to each other, learning how to create the circumstances for our own enlightenment. That happens together. The Buddha said the next Buddha was going to be not one single human being, but the Sangha. He said the Sangha, meaning the community of like-minded people, was going to be the next Buddha. We're going to do it together. We're going to hold hands, and we're going to do it together, collaboratively. Are you in? You're all in? Okay, good. We're going to end it here. Be happy in your mind. It's called Nagyal, divine pride. It's different than regular pride. Regular pride about things that are going to be taken away from you is, ongoing stupidity. Nagyal is a Tibetan word for divine pride. It means taking pride in your own goodness, in your own capacity to love others. That is something you should be proud of, okay? Forget the rest of it. Yeah, crying. Her heart's opening. She's all crying. Good for you. Okay, you guys, let's put our hands to prayer. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering and the causes for suffering by my hand. May all beings experience happiness and have the seeds for happiness by my hand. Om Bolo Shri 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 Saguru Bhagavan Ki Jai. Namaste, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and have a great rest of the weekend. Okay?